Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Assembly, it's been an interesting debate. After listening to it all, I'm not sure if it's an education bill or if it's a tax bill. But I can tell you what I think it is. And I can also tell you that I'm here to defend the House's position. We passed this bill out, the first half, with 70 mills. Not 50, 70. And we had an additional homestead-type tax credit that went back to the citizens of North Dakota in a separate line item. 17 conference committees later, we come back with 50 because the Senate would not budge. It kind of reminds me of what happened to us on the corporate and personal income tax that went from $514 million down to $250, and we accepted it. And now we're told that this bill has got some great things in it, and it might have that. But we're supposed to say our position didn't count, and 50 is the right answer, and milk is watered down, and autism is in, and there's all sorts of other stuff in the bill, and there's not really much money in there. The money is really in the DPI budget. And they say, oh, it's so late in the session, you can't possibly address this issue. This is no new issue. We debated this issue at length before it left the House at crossover. And I'm defending our position of 70 mills and of extra money going back to the taxpayers, about 8% there. And today that number would be, and by the way, we do have a bill all ready to go. This isn't going to slow us down. We can surrender because there isn't time, but it doesn't slow us down. It keeps what the Educational Commission for Educational Improvement was set up in 2006. Some of our members in this chamber sat on that very commission. And when they got all done, they worked closely and tried to develop a formula that would address equity and adequacy in educational funding. And this legislative assembly bought that and said, that's good work. And we bought all the changes and reforms they wanted done, every one of them. And in this bill, I'm looking all over for it to say we expect better test scores from our kids and better performance by our teachers. And I don't see it because it's not in there. This is all about money. And sure, we have everything to say about 8,800 and 9,000. But tell me, those of you who have been here a while, how easy you think it'd be to lower that number next time if we did a little study and said it should be 6,800. And the answer is it wouldn't happen because we've promised that, and those people out there who say, no, you're not going back because that's what you owe us. So that's not going to happen. So when you do that number, it's a fixed number. So don't tell me it's property tax reform. It does give temporary relief. Representative Nathan and his guys did a great job working. They did the best. They fought for us. They fought for 17 meetings for the House's position. And every time the answer was no because we're not quite as smart. And 50 is the right one. And I don't blame him for defending their work. And I'm proud of him as a chairman. He went down there time after time after time to get what was right. And to get what was right was more study and more efficiency and more understanding before we establish a number at $8,800. We took a PICUS report that's 5 or 6 years old, added on an inflator for every year and said, that's the number. I could have picked that number. I could have grabbed one out of the clouds for you too. But the point is, this is not ready. And there is a bill. It puts $403 million into the mill levy reduction grants that we've always used in the last 3 bienniums. And by the way, we've spent almost $800 million in the last 3 bienniums on property tax relief. And what are the people still saying? Where's the money? I don't know what happened to the $800 million. I got a little bit of it. I checked on a couple of my buildings just because everybody says, well, you know, you're getting it. And what should be $3,500 today is $2,000 because $1,600 of it is gone with increased assessments and valuations. And this will continue. Their bill is good that it slowed things down. I appreciate the work you did, Mike, and Representative Nathan on doing that because there were no safeguards before you did that. And you know what? He took them kicking and screaming in that committee to do that. But our position was study it some more, 70 mills, and put money into the mill levy reduction grants. We have House Bill 2036, or Senate bill, with those very numbers in it, ready to go. We can go downstairs in 25 minutes if we could kill this bill and get down to serious work about getting some real things done. And then at the bottom of that should be the bill that has the reforms. I know everybody gets squeamish about caps, and they said, well, you can't even do them yourself in the legislature. Why would you expect other people to do it? But I don't think it's anything wrong to try and get citizen involvement in baseline budgeting and to talk about dollars and percentages that people understand, like Representative Sanford said, what the heck's a mill? Because a mill is a great confusing item in this whole process. What does it mean? Most of you wouldn't even know what one mill raised in your community, because it raises a different amount in every community, depending on your valuations and your budgets. And people don't get it. If we think they're sleeping on this issue, we're kidding ourselves. And if you think you're going to go back from $8,800 to $9,000 someday because you don't have the money, you'll be raising taxes to cover it if you don't have it. So I'm not going to support this bill. And there's an alternative in it. And don't tell me it's too late in the session, because this is the way it always goes. And it doesn't mean I have to accept a bad idea because we only have one day left. So I hope you join me and get this done and get that bill 2036 downstairs, and let's get this done right.
Is there any further